right, diving right into it and your health and well-being. We haven't talked about this, Ivey, and I just thought I'd mention it real quickly, but Lori Pahutsky of Livonia, you've probably heard this, sterilized herself so that she wouldn't have to have kids when Donald Trump was president. I think she should be a trendsetter. I think if you have TDS so bad you can't function, go ahead, be sterilized. I mean, how bizarre is that? Oh, and by the way, she's also bragging. MichiganNewsSource.com has this story today. She's bragging about her undocumented friends. Hey, Tom Homan, you might want to stop by and see Lori. She's sterilized and that's not a problem, but her undocumented friends she's bragging about, maybe that's an issue. Anyhow, I just thought I'd mention it. It's strange to me.
Yeah, good morning, Steve. I find it actually very sad.
It is sad.
She's a young woman. She thinks that she's standing for something, that this is, people on her side of the aisle are going to applaud her and she's going to get recognition for this. But let's fast forward 5 years. And if she actually really did sterilize herself.
Right,
and
but no way to actually know.
Right, and if she did actually do that and then she decides, man, you know what? I actually really do want children. What have you done to yourself? It is kind of like, to me, no different than having a gender transition, because you then cannot reverse it. It is irreversible. So unfortunately, it's just one of those permanent decisions based on, your ideology. It doesn't seem to be made in common sense at all. And I just find it really sad. And I think it's unfortunate. And I agree, if you have derangement syndrome that bad,
Speaking of which,
you have to go to this extreme length. You might need a little bit of counseling on something
you might
else.
need a little bit of help. You just might. I just saw this news report out of Wisconsin, television news report, watched it quickly on social media this morning. About they're all upset because a child in Wisconsin, a young child, a boy, whose mother, boy, is she a little bit wacky, says he can't transition now because the treatments were canceled after the executive order from the White House. Thank God. Mm-hmm. Maybe he can send a thank you note to Donald Trump here a few years down the line. Yeah, they can't get that treatment anymore. No more mutilation. Gee, what a tragedy.
Well, and you've spoken to several different folks who have transitioned and then went back to their, original sex, what they were born with, and not that they cannot actually ever change their
sex. But they're
ruined. But the realization that what the amount of harm that they did to their body, and realizing that, one, you're never going to have sexual pleasure ever again in your life. Two, it is essentially completely irreversible. And I think that's why most people go into this deep depression, because they can't change the decision that they made.
Yeah, irreversible. You've been butchered.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's just
especially
terrible
for children.
Yeah.
These children, I think, wouldn't even think this way unless it was placed in their mind. This is not something that children think about. So let's let kids be kids. When you're going through that teenage years, of course, you have a lot of different feelings. I was a big time tomboy. I never didn't think I was a boy. I knew I was a girl. I didn't think I was a boy, but I knew that I was athletic. I knew that I was really strong. I knew that I was I liked to do boy things, play football, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. But anyhow.
Doesn't mean you're a dude.
It doesn't mean I'm a dude. No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Speaking of health, I handed you that one story here yesterday. The whole MAHA movement, whether it's stopping this kind of butchery, and disfigurement of our children in the pursuit of some gender, utopia, or taking the nonsense out of our food, out of our medicine, and out of cosmetics as well, right?
Sure, absolutely. And, I've actually been doing this for a long time. I really pay attention. I'm a big-time label reader. I think you've become a label reader because I am a big-time label reader. We actually even have an app on our phone now called Yuka. And you can scan the label, and it gives you a rating on food. It would be nice. I don't know. Actually, I have not explored. They might have something like that on cosmetics too. But there is, anything time you put something on your skin is your largest organ. So it just, whatever it is, seeps right into your skin.
It'll take it right in. Right.
So things like, fragrances and parabens, sulfates, silicones, dyes, fragrances, as I mentioned, those things, you have to be careful putting those things on your body, in your body, especially on your face, things like that, because they get absorbed into your skin and into your bloodstream, and so therefore it does have consequences over time, especially if you're wearing makeup every day. So it is important, like we should be looking at these things. We should be thinking about, hey, are these things safe for me to put on my face? Now I tend to try to buy certain cosmetics that are clean, but at the same time we shouldn't have to worry about if something is poisonous that we're putting on our skin because it's allowed. Right?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Look, they let us use red dye number 3 for all these years when all the countries around the world said you can't use that as a cancer-causing agent. Finally, we catch up. I wonder what we're doing in cosmetics here in America that we shouldn't be doing. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't read cosmetics. I don't use it like you do, but makes you wonder. I mean, is it worth it for the profit to sell this product that can do bad things to people? Apparently, unfortunately, too often the answer is yes, because they sell these things.
It's no different than in food, right? It is convenient. It is cheaper. High fructose corn syrup is very cheap. That's why it's in everything. A lot of seed oils, they're cheaper to make. So then I think that's the reasoning why you can have a red coloring made out of different products, but it is more expensive and more time consuming. So yeah, I mean, can it be changed? Absolutely, it can be changed in these companies. They just have to choose. Sometimes they don't want to choose, and then the government has to come in and force them to choose. But that it is a simple thing, and I think too, you know, if you stopped at buying certain things, hey, I'm not going to put this in the on my body or on my body, then it forces companies to make a change.
Right. But if you affect their bottom line.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, another thing too, you know, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but Dunkin' recalled 2 million donuts.
Yeah. One of our team members crushed. She had Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast 2 mornings ago. I saw that. I got to leave it there.
You know, I like a donut every now and then.
Yeah, how do they recall donuts? And then before that, they had run out of donuts. Dunkin's having some problems.
Not running on Dunkin' today.
Yeah, not running on Dunkin' today. Ivy, as always, thank you, my dear. Love you.
I love you, Steve. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Final thoughts on this Tuesday in a moment.
At the Michigan Chamber, we're here to help our state's business.